courage and doing things that you know were politically tough, but it was the right thing to do. We all saw you walk around the floor of the Senate trying to get those votes for the budget. Oh my God, was those the toughest days? You made your deal on the budget and you had to go walk around and try to convince folks that this is what they needed to do. But we saw those leadership qualities, and we saw, I think all of us saw how you worked with both parties, that you looked for, you would fight hard on the political battles, but you had great relationships from both sides. And these are the lasting impressions that I certainly took away from my service, my work for you, and I know that many people in the room took that away, and we try to transmit those values to the people that work for us, that we work with, to talk about how we can make this political process more effective. And so I thank you for all the great laws, all the great impacts that you had in our state, and I thank you for me and so many others who learned so much from you, who've learned about those values that were so core to your leadership. Thank you. Appreciate it.
So we had many people write to us about Dave Roberti, and we would spend the rest of the night if we went through all of those. But there is one special one. If you wanted to be here, and I have Kathy Bowler read something very quickly.
The great Kathy Bowler.
The great
Kathy Bowler. Great Kathy Bowler.
Well, I had the honor of being Senator Roberti's last chief of staff in 1994, and worked for him off and on since through the 80s and 90s. Anyway, this is from John Burton, and he really wanted to be here this week, and he hoped to be.
There's no four-letter word.
No, there will be. There will be. So I am going to read them, of course. Dear David, I'm so sorry that I'm not able to be present tonight when you are being honored by Loyola Marymount. You have always been a great friend and a very solid liberal Democrat. We had fun in the Assembly, and unfortunately for me, I was back in Congress for most of your term as pro tem. You should take great pride in knowing that you are the only Senate pro tem of Calabrese descent in the history of California. You should wear that recognition with honor. I inherited several of your former pro tem staff, and every one of them spoke highly of you and served me well when I was pro tem. Wishing you all the best, and please give my best wishes to June. Again, sorry I can't be there, but as you know, even in retirement, shit happens, and my schedule is not my own. Peace and friendship, John Burton.
And now for the award, I'm going to have our 16th president at Loyola Marymount University, Timothy Law Snyder, come up here, give some remarks, and present the award to Dave Roberti. I do want to mention that, of course, his brother Mario Roberti is here, his sister-in-law Patricia, and of course, a grandniece, Claire Restrepo, who's also a student at LMU. And so the legacy continues. President Snyder, and if you guys can please move up, please, I would appreciate that if you can come up.
Thank you.
Okay.
Hand this over to you. Oh, sure. It's still going.
Thank you, Professor Guerra.
Well, watch out.
I would like to speak to David Roberti's contributions to Loyola Marymount University, better known as LMU. First, however, let me please thank all who are here this evening. We speak often in universities about you giving us your time, your talent, and your treasure. And all we care about is the treasure. No, wait a minute. We appreciate your time, and so often we say that you can judge a man by the company he keeps. And David, you keep incredible company to have such luminaries here, eloquent luminaries. You put the fear of God into me. I thought I was going to be at a podium, and it turned into the theater of the round. You get politicians, they're very good at that. David, people have spoken to David's accomplishments as a legislator, as a public figure, and I would like to speak to what he has done for LMU. And I'll begin with the David A. Roberti Award. So students, could you raise your hands? Now this is something for you to note about millennials. They tend to cluster. And they're always together in these large meandering groups. It's interesting to watch. But these students are attending the Sacramento Legislative Seminar. And that is important to us because we are an Ignatian institution. We are founded by St. Ignatius. That's what a Jesuit institution is. And St. Ignatius wanted us to do two things. Well, he wanted us to do many things, but two important ones that relate to the seminar and to David and his award are, first, our students learn through action. They learn by doing, and the seminar allows them to partner with legislators, partner with the entire process, and learn how it works by being part of it. Second, St. Ignatius was really into us meeting people where they are. And for some of our students, they cannot be with us because they cannot afford to be with us. Or they cannot be part of the seminar because they cannot afford to be part of the seminar. The David A. Roberti Award meets those students where they are and makes them part of the seminar when they otherwise could not be. So David, we thank you for that. We really appreciate it. And then of course we have that to which that paper over there is dedicated. These are the David A. Roberti, I want to say Roberti.
That's how my father
David A. Roberti papers. And the papers go from, I think it's 50 years actually. If you do the math, it looks like 49, but if you do it right, it's actually 50 years worth of papers, and it was 369 dedicated boxes of documents. I can't remember the official word for boxes. I think they're 55-gallon drums. But they span the entirety of David's career, and they also are curated by him in ways that help us organize them and understand their value. These are used by our Center for the Study of Los Angeles, which Fernando Guerra heads, and it's part of our scholarly research done by faculty and done by students, and they're curated by persons in our museum who know how to take care of these things where they will last forever. So they are in good hands, and we are in good hands having that from David. So we'd like to thank you for that as well. I had prepared to tell you about David's political accomplishments, but because I know you all are looking this way, and some of you want to look that way because the bar is that way, I will not go through those, but I would invite you to look at the David Roberti Lifetime poster back there. It's set up in a fascinating way. And you see Lifetime poster, and the lifetime is still going on, and the person remains active, as has David. You think, oh my. But you'll notice it's a spiral that continues to go around, and it grows as it goes around. And I think that represents, David, very well how you have grown in terms of your importance to the public and how your accomplishments continue to pay off for each of us. So we appreciate that. So now comes our moment, and I am honored to present the Honorable David A. Roberti with the Loyola Marymount University LMU President's Award.
One, two, three. One more. Are you getting it all with the podium? Three.
Why don't you guys move over here a little bit? Just move this way here.
Yeah, I think I want.
I got you.
Don't fall off, David.
Okay, right here, gentlemen. One, two, three.
Okay.
Wonderful.
Wait, one more, because I want to jump in here.
All right. There it is. One, two, three. All right, wonderful. One more. One, two, three. Awesome. Thank you.
Please welcome David Roberti.
Thank you very much, President Snyder, and everybody who has come and helped participate in this festivity. I'll start with a couple of my favorite LMU stories, rather than politics. You might be interested. Number one, when I was going to LMU, the chairman of the political science department was a man by the name of Stanley Chan, Professor Stanley Chan, and he was a Republican. And he said, you know, I can get you an internship. Oh, that sounds good. It was an internship with the local Republican assemblyman. Well, frankly, my philosophy fluctuated. Republican, Democrat. And I said, great. So I went to work for Assemblyman Charlie Chapel, who represented the Loyola area, El Segundo, the beach cities. And I worked in his staff for maybe almost 1 year. I was elected to office shortly 3 years thereafter, and as a Democrat. And one day I saw him and I said, Charlie, I won't tell on you and you don't tell on me. And he died maybe just like 3 months after I was there. But I had a recommendation from the head of the poli-sci department at Loyola giving me my first political job just with the other party. My other story is I got a call from the administration saying, we want to give you an award. And it was an award at commencement. And I said, sure, I'll be glad to go. And I went down. It was a yearly honorary award. And they introduced me, and I got up, and I may have made about a minute and a half of acceptance statements. You know, how appreciative I was. It's always nice to be back on campus. When I finished, the students all cheered and threw their hats, whatever you call them, into the air. And this speech wasn't that good. I thought this speech was pretty lousy. Then I looked at the program. I was the commencement speaker. And the students came to me and said, that's the best commencement address ever got. It was like 1984. It's in your records. It's in your papers. Yeah, probably. I was embarrassed to tears, but no one was ever so popular with the students as I was then. I want to say that I'm overwhelmed by the support that I have received. Moral support. It's nice to be appreciated when you're out of office. You can get lots of rewards when you're in office. But there's always in the back of your head somebody saying, now what do they want from me now? Sometimes yes, sometimes no. But when you're out of office, hey, maybe they really like you. And of course, when it comes to LMU, I like them. And I like it. And I like the institution. So thank you for supporting LMU as well as these nice reflections on me. We talk about political courage. I'll tell you one more story. And that is how I came to author the Roberti Rus. We shouldn't forget Mike, he was a big part of this.
Yeah, he was.
And assault weapon bill. And that is, there was a commentator in LA, many of you older timers would know him, David Horowitz. He was a consumer advocate, yes. And he was held up at gunpoint in his radio station or TV station for about a whole hour. Come to find out, the gun that was used was a toy gun. And so I put in legislation saying that you had to conceal toy guns. So, people would, know if it's real or not real. And it passed. So I was pretty proud of that. And I thought I was going to get kudos, and I got a few. But the LA Times then wrote this really nasty editorial. And I don't want to engage in a John Burtonism, but they said, if he really had, in effect, if he really had any of these, they'd go after the real guns. Well, that's sort of that sort of got my macho up.